folks, back at it. We're making progress, and hopefully we'll get this thing bored out. But I'm going to try to put, I'll show you what I'm going to do. I believe that these are the same cases, the Camaro and the Mustang. So we're going to see, because this was on it originally. I put this one on it. I'm not even sure why I got that one, but I did measure it out. I put the bearing retainer in there, bit imperfect. So we're going to see if that one will fit on here, which I believe it will. So that's going to help me out in a couple ways. One way is it's going to reduce my OD of this piece, and then that's going to bring us down on that size. And this is actually as big as that, so I don't think there's going to be any issues. And that way I can take that throwout bearing and I can go through it and take out 15 thousandths, which would be 7.5 thousandths on each side, and we should be good to go on it. So that'll solve that. But we did get our grill in for our 31 or 32 Ford grill, so we're going to get it opened up and just set it on there. I just want to see what it's going to look like. Okay folks, here's our 32 grill shell in the box. We'll go ahead and get it. Oh hell no, I didn't order no virus. Okay folks, here it is. Looks pretty good. Got to fix the bars in it just like I did on the last one. But like I said, these are, I think with tax, wasn't any shipping on it. I think with tax it was still up around $200 for the grill and the shell. But that's a stainless insert. You just got to straighten it all out after you get it, because they don't do a very good job of putting that stuff in there and straightening it out good. So anyway, it's going to fit, but I can already see that I'm going to have some issues. I'm going to end up having to take that outside pulley off. I'm going to end up not being able to run a fan. I have to run an electric fan, unfortunately. Don't really care to, but I'm sure I'm going to have to, because I'm going to have some length issues because of the way this front's made. And our grill shell's still tall. So, but we'll get it figured out one way or the other. If I got to run an electric fan, I will. I don't want to, but it may be the way to go. Okay, before we get back to machining, one of the subscribers, and I'm sorry for the sun, I don't know whether it's better in the shade or not in the shade. I can't see through the viewfinder because it's so bright, but one of the viewers said something about not turning that down on the Ford because of they had trouble with them braking. Well, I did not realize that they were aluminum. The whole piece is aluminum. So what I've done was the one that I had put on the Chevrolet or the Camaro transmission, I took off and moved it over. Moved this one over to it, and it turns just fine. Everything's good. Bearings fit in. Measured everything up, make sure it was going to be right. I didn't realize that was aluminum yesterday when I was looking at these things, and didn't pay no attention, but I totally understand why they break and why they give trouble. Because I've had big trucks, I've had to actually make them, bore them out, press a new one in there, and I've done that actually many times, believe it or not. But I've never seen one that was aluminum, so that ain't good. So that leaves us with, okay, we're going to have to go to a bigger pilot bushing. Our clutch is fine. This is going to be fine. We're just going to have to turn this down just a little bit or turn the bearing down, either one. Let me see. We're going to make a 1/4 inch plate to bolt on the back of that bell housing and bolt to this, and it's going to give us all our measurements good without having to change anything, and it'll work out really well. So let's get this back off so I can use it for measurement to get to our whole board, because I hadn't sealed it up or cleaned it up or anything yet. And then we'll go ahead and get our bell housing board out and finished up, and then we'll start maybe making a plate for it. Alright. Okay folks, so here's what we've got. Transmission is sitting down in it just like it's supposed to, and you can see that our bolt holes are nowhere near each other. which is fine. We're going to make a 1/4-inch plate, and we're going to countersink it onto here, and then we're going to put studs in it, countersink from the other side coming out for all the other spots there. So first thing we're going to do is go ahead and get the plate made, and let me see, I'll probably do the center hole in the plate out to the same size first, and then that way we'll be able to locate it from there, and then we'll go from there, and I'll show you how I'm going to drill the holes exact and set this whole thing up. Okay, so what I've done is I've cut out a piece of 10 by 10 or a piece of 1/4 inch, 10 inch by 10 inch, and that way it will cover all the way down and all the way across. So trying to get an idea of where we want to locate it for our center hole. So what we want to do is, as we can see, nothing protrudes higher than the bell housing here, and nothing comes out farther than this end. So if we use this as a corner, we can put it on. I'm going to clamp it, and then I'm going to flip it over, and I'm going to mark our hole where we want it at, and then I'll show you how we're going to do our hole in our plate first, and then we'll get that done, and then we'll come back and start doing the holes in the bell housing. Okay, so I marked outside, left, right, bottom, top, that way I wouldn't get this all mixed up. So we know where it's going to be. And then I went through and marked where I wanted our hole at. So that's it. I'm going to go ahead and do this hole, and then we'll start getting everything else lined up. Okay folks, we're still getting the wrecks, but something that I've noticed about the wrecks that are different than what they usually are is most of the wrecks we're getting now is people with no insurance, people with no driver's license, and you know, either drunk or on drugs or cracked out or something. So I think the honest people are staying home, and a lot of them's creating a mess because I'm getting stuck with a lot of cars here. This one here, you can see the back wheels off of it. I had to pull that wheel off. Here is one of the center pieces that go between 4-lane highway, and on this has got 3 big cables hanging. The guy took 20 of these out. Don't know how fast they was going, but there was 20 of them down. This one here just happened to get caught up under when I was pulling it out. But the problem was is the cables were over top of here, as you can see, over top of the A-frame. 2 of them. 2 of the cables were anyway, and then running down and through here, and then down, and then on top of the there, and then they was here, and it was getting stuck on. One of them got stuck on a shock mount. I had to winch it off the shock mount right there. But to get the cables off of here, I had to pull the wheel off first, and then winch it out some, and then I had to fight the cables out of here because, you know, there's no cutting them cables and there's tension on them, and you know, it's dangerous to do, but we got it. Thank goodness there was 2 troopers there that was decent, that helped out. But so this is one of quite a few I've gotten since everybody's supposed to be staying home. What a mess, right? Okay. One thing we're going to do is we're going to compare this 32 grill with a Model A grill. I don't know which one's going to look best, but we'll do that, and maybe we can get some opinions from you to see which one's going to look best on it. I thought the 32 would look a little better than what it does in conjunction with the car, but I don't know, it's just not, I like it, but it's not doing that much for me. I may keep this to use for another project, which, you know, we got to find something to put the Buick motor in, so definitely going to be another project. But I'm going to take it, set an A there, radiator, and you can tell me what you think. Okay folks, here's where we're at. We've got our hole cut out in our plate. I've got to go a little bit bigger. You see, I used a sacrificial piece of aluminum under it, not to hurt, so we wouldn't hurt the chuck. So this is just a little rotary table. I normally would have wanted to do this on the lathe, but not enough swing because the hole's so offset. So 2 sacrificial holes to bolt it down. I can weld them up, grind them over, be done with them, but we'll do that before we start laying everything else out. But that's out. Now I'm just going to bring this out to size, and then I'll show you what I'll do from there. Okay, folks, got the whole board. We'll show you what I've done here. Now I've got to weld them holes up and cover them. Not a big deal. No issue at all. So what I've done was this hole and this plate, I went ahead and undersized just a little bit to press this piece in, because I had this that came off of the Camaro transmission. What I've done was make it presses where it would press in, but press through just a little bit. So I've got a lip there. So now I can take this piece and line it up perfect. It's absolutely perfect where it needs to be. Now I'll just have to get it straight, you know, the way I want it. And we'll start putting these holes in. Now, how to locate these holes. With a milling machine, it's really easy. I'm going to show you how to do that. And we'll get these located and drilled. And then I've got to make countersink bolts. I'm not sure if these are, yeah, these are 1/2 inch too, I think, but I've got to make them. I don't have them, and I really don't want to go anywhere and get any. And you know, the closest place I could get them is a long ways away anyway, so don't feel like ordering them. So we're just going to make them, get them in there. I may let them protrude through and put nuts on the back side, because I don't think there's anything that can be in the way there. And then once them are done, then we can knock this out. I'll hit this with a file, you know, 1/2 round file, just to loosen it back up good enough to get the transmission in. Just be really careful about not taking too much off one side. And then we'll get the transmission in, and then we can do our marks for our transmission and get it bolted in, and then we'll do some trimming around the outside of this to make it look a little better. But that's it so far. So let me get this set back up so we can drill these holes, and we'll go from there. Okay, so here's what I've got. I've cut off a 7/16 bolt. I put it in a 7/16 collet, and we are going to start it in this hole right here. Now we've got the bell housing where we can move it around a little bit, and then once I get it exactly where I want it, I get it started in there, then we're going to clamp it down, and I'll show you from there. Okay, so now we've got it clamped down where we want it. It's not going to move, and unscrew this from it, raise it up. Alright, we're going to put our piece in, and we'll get it where we want it. I'm going to put one clamp on it on the back side, and then we'll go to a drill bit. And so we'll probably go, we can go with you know, an 1/8 inch hole, and then we'll take that here and take it over to the drill press and drill it, and then we'll countersink it. So, and then I'll get one, and then we'll actually go from there, and we'll mark the next one the same way, and then we'll stick the bolt in, you know, at least temporary to keep it from moving, and then we'll do it. So our first one's our only critical one to get our mount where we want it. So alright, let me get that done and I'll show you. So now we're going to take our plate back off. We're going to line up on this hole. We'll put our plate back on, bolt it down with this bolt, and we'll drill it. And we'll just do that 4 times, and that'll be done. And then we'll just countersink, make our bolts, bolt it down, put a red Loctite on it. Okay, now as you can see, I don't have them tight. These are all perfect size holes. There's no oversized hole. I drilled it with a 1/2 inch drill bit, and they all fit exactly where they're supposed to fit. And I've done that for a reason. I didn't want any play in this thing, because this plate, you know, is not connected in any other way to the bell housing. So for me to keep this big hole completely, you know, straight between the two, I didn't want these holes to be off at all. So when we taper these, I'm actually going to taper them set up in here. And what I'll do is I'll taper it, and that way, if my taper is longer than what the thickness of this is, which it may be, it'll still come out smooth, and they'll be, you know, straight together. So we're good to go here. Got them all on there. perfect. There's no issues there. Now, I can knock that piece out with a claw hammer. There we go. So, it's just what I want. Now we'll just clean that up, and then we're going to go ahead and countersink and put these bolts in one at a time. So that's exactly how we wanted it to turn out. No problems there. All right. Okay, I got this grill shell just sitting on there. I don't know. It's not slid down far enough. That or the radiator ain't up far enough. But anyway, you get the point. You know, I don't know that I don't like that better. I don't know. Tell me what you think. 32, model way. All right, folks, we're going to end it here. We got that one made and countersunk in. Countersunk this one. Now we're going to make it. We're just going to slowly get them together. I'm not sure, depending on where them other ones land at, I may just drill them and tap them, and then drill them and put a nut on the back side back here, because all of them are down below the bell housing anyway. So anyway, that's where we're at. We'll have this plate finished up in no time and have the transmission on. We'll get everything finished up. But appreciate everybody watching, and been trying to do a video a day. I don't know, you know, how well it's going to work out, but I know there's, you know, a lot of people have actually slowed down doing videos because the revenues, mine's 47% drop in revenue, which is, you know, it's not a big deal. It's not all about that, but if it was, you know, I'd never be doing videos to start with. But anyway, so, you know, a lot of people's probably going to slack off on videos, I wouldn't doubt. But we'll see what happens. But I hope not, because, you know, there's a lot of them I enjoy watching too when I get time. But anyway, let me know what you think on the grill shells. I think these videos here, I don't get nearly as many views on. Because, you know, not everybody wants to know how to put a transmission in a Buick. But that's okay. I totally understand. But I still enjoy making them. And, you know, I just enjoy doing this kind of work. So we'll get this finished up and go from there. Well, I suppose that's it. Until tomorrow. Appreciate everybody watching. Bye.